SSCM, I guess, is the more technical term. Site-specific crop management it stands for, and it basically is just about variable rate application. It's about, instead of just managing a whole field with a simple or the same blanket rate application, we're actually taking that down to a smaller level, and so we can treat different areas of the field with different levels of nutrition or seed or emollients. The usual steps that a farmer will go through to simplify it is actually first establishing whether you've got the environment that would suit site-specific crop management. Most farmers will be able to tell you where there's a better part of their paddock or a worse part of their paddock. And so once we've established that, yeah, okay, there is some variability that does exist, things like yield maps are often the first port of call. Things like electromagnetic conductivity surveys, NDVI, so just different layers of information that can identify where variation exists in a field, and then taking the next step and going, okay, what's driving that variation? Usually soil tests or tissue tests are going to help us sort of work out A, what the constraints are, what's meaning that there's a lesser yield here or a higher yield there, and then B, also giving us an idea about the levels of nutrition that exist in the soil, and from that we can then go and formulate a plan for what to do with the issue that exists in the poor areas. And that might be amelioration, so things like lime and gypsum come to mind. And then we can also go down the path of variable rate nutrition or seed rate application. So if an area has a low level of phosphorus, we can go and put more there. And if an area has a high level of phosphorus, we can take out what we were going to put there and put it in the low area. And then obviously at the end of the season with a yield map, we can come back and actually do some assessments and just work out, have we made some good decisions with the site-specific crop management. Collecting yield data is a fantastic place to start. Most harvesters these days that growers are using have the ability to yield map. Not all of them are actually plugged into a GPS to ensure that happens, so absolute encouragement to growers to make sure that happens, collect that data, even if it sits on a computer for 2 or 3 years before you do anything with it. It's just a great layer of information to go back and refer to, so I can thoroughly encourage farmers to get yield mapping as soon as they can. The most important layer of information that exists out there is the bit that sits above the shoulders of the farmer. They've been over their paddock for the last 30 years or so, so just having an understanding about what is driving that variation is very important with that local knowledge and what the father and the grandfather knew many years ago. In regards to taking on board a site-specific crop management program, well, they can probably expect to get a better bang for their buck when it comes to the fertiliser. They can not over-fertilise in parts of their paddock, and they can also not under-fertilise in other parts of their paddock. So it's just about, I guess, getting the most out of their nutrition dollar.